Yo guys, so we're going to be ranking every single Dueling Grounds weapons ultimate from mid all the way to the best of the best. And unlike last time, we have two new weapons joining us in this ranking, that being the kusarigama and the warhammer. But even before we even get started, I'm already eyeing up one weapon I already know is going to be in that top spot. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it.
Before we get into that, I'm trying to become the best ear mixer around, and I need your help to do so. A like, comment, subscribe to the channel would help out tremendously. But let's get into the video.
Alright, so here we are. You watched the last ranking video, then you know what's up. As always, we have our three tiers. We've got absolutely Dueling Grounds, height, and mid. And we'll see which one of these weapons fall into which. Kicking it right off, I think I'm going to rank the naginata first. So obviously with the naginata, it starts off with the impale, and to be honest, I quite like the animation. It's speaking to me, I like the impale, the little spin around, you slam them and then you just toss them to the side like they're trash, bro. I like that. But is it good enough to be an absolutely Dueling Grounds? I don't think so. So I think to start off, we go middle of the road. Alright, that leads us into our next weapon. I'm just thinking, I think I'm going to do the katana next year. So, we have the katana's ultimate. It looks like this. I think it's such a simple but clean animation. Just the slashes into just the slam down. Very, very clean. Is it good enough to be in absolutely Dueling Grounds though? I do not know. I mean, look at this little kick up he does at the start of it, and then you just chase him up. Cut through him 1,000 times, bro. It's crazy. Maybe it's because I'm biased though, because to me, if it's an anime, a show where it's like a cold swordsman guy, if it's like a show, a TV, an anime where it just has some guy that's just cold with it, with the swordman, I like it, man. When I'm looking at this animation, I'm just instantly, and my mind is just drawn to Zoro, and that's my favorite One Piece character. So I feel like if I had to put the katana anywhere, I think it'll be our first absolutely Dueling Grounds. Alright, for our next weapon, I wanted to go with, and to be honest, at first I thought this weapon was it's not too good, not too bad, but to be honest, the more I look at it, the more I watch it, the more I'm like, it has to be absolutely Dueling Grounds. And that weapon is the dual daggers. Here's what the animation looks like. I just think that kick at the end is just so disrespectful. Whenever you end off the round with that kick, it's a good feeling. So I'm thinking it has to be an absolutely Dueling Grounds. Even just let me play it back. Even these 1-2 combos and you just teleporting around, it's crazy. So I think it goes there, man. It has to. For our next weapon, if I had to say, it's probably the least popular weapon in the game. I mean, and I can see why. It's not very good, in my opinion. When I ranked it in the last video, I had it in alright. But when you're ranking these ultimates, there's a lot of factors that go into it. And for our next weapon, we have the gauntlets. And to be honest, if I had to re-rank the gauntlets, I'd probably have it near the bottom. It's just not that good a weapon, in my opinion. And that's not why we're here today. Today we're here to rank its ultimate. And unfortunately for the gauntlet, it probably has the worst animation in the game for an ultimate. And I honestly think that's being quite generous to the gauntlet. Because I mean, look at this. The ground and pound's pretty good, but it's just everything else is a bit mid. You throw them up in the air and slam them down. It's pretty simple, not too good. So I think it earns its place as our first mid animation. And if you ask me, I think it's fitting for a weapon that is quite mid itself. And that now leaves us with our two newest weapons added in the Christmas update for Dueling Grounds, that being the warhammer and the kusarigamas. And I think I want to start with the kusarigamas first. I have a lot to say about this animation. I think it reminds me of a lot of things. Here's what the animation looks like. So at first you may be thinking, it's pretty simple animation. And I would actually agree with you. It is a pretty simple animation. I feel like it referencing, or at least paying homage to Scorpion, yoinking people, shouting "get over here." I think that's really cool about the kusarigamas. I don't know if it was intentional, but to me it seems intentional. That's why I think I rated it a lot higher than it probably should be if you didn't understand that reference. Like, let me look at it side by side. Am I going crazy? Or is that not paying homage to it? Getting back on track. As to where I'd rank the kusarigama, I believe it has to be, for me, in absolutely Dueling grounds. Which then now leaves us with our final weapon. I quite like this weapon. I quite like it a lot. I didn't like it at first when I started using it, but the more I used it, the animation, it's all top notch, to be honest. As to where I'd rank the warhammer. Now, this is what its animation looks like. And as you can see, there ain't a weapon on this game that has as much sauce as the warhammer. The spin, the slam, it's all perfect. If there's any weapon that embodies absolutely Dueling grounds on this tier list, it has to be the warhammer, bro. And that's where it goes. So there we have it. That's probably my rough tier list for the best animations in Dueling grounds, but I've not ordered it properly, so I'm just going to refine it and then we'll discuss about it. And we're back. So this is absolutely like my definitive tier list for the best animations in Dueling grounds, and as you can see, the katana has dropped down a tier. I went over the footage, the animations just one more time looking at. I'm just thinking, the katana, it was already a bit of a push being in absolute Dueling grounds. It's very simple, the animation. Could probably do with a rework or a tweak or something to it, but I felt like compared to the other weapons like the warhammer, for example, that animation is crazy. I just don't think it stacks up to them, but I do think it is better than the naginata's animation, for example. I have the kusarigama at the bottom of absolute Dueling grounds because I think, despite the reference, the homage to Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, I do think it is kind of pushing it being in there, that tier, and it could easily be top of 8. So I think bottom of absolute Dueling grounds is calm. I'm not too fussed with that. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree with that. For the second best animation, we have the dual daggers, and as I said, like the little slashes, the kick at the end, it's all good. I like it a lot. Is it better than the warhammer? No. So if I had to be honest, I should probably had another tier, because if I had another tier, fourth tier, I think they'd go just below absolutely Dueling grounds. As for the warhammer, it's just the best. It being the newest weapon, along with the kusarigamas, they just do have the best looking animations, I guess. There was no hope for the gauntlets to ever reach 8, to be honest. It's just not that good of an animation, so it just stays there. But that is pretty much it for my definitive best Dueling grounds weapon animations, ultimates, whatever you want to call it. Let me know down below if you agree, if you disagree, and leave all in the comments. But that is pretty much it, guys, so peace.